Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. All right. I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky. With me, as always, are my very good friends, Eddie, Chuck, and Cheri. What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. How about it?
All right. We got a hot one out there today, man. Not only hot, but hot. It's like in the 90s where I'm at, and I'm glad we're inside today. But let's see what's new. You know what? We're going to start off with Chuck and Cheri, and we're going to stop by over there and see what's new with them two. So what's up, guys?
All right. Hey, it is hot, very hot. It's about 95, 96 out here in Pittsburgh, and we were outside doing yard work for quite a few hours. Yeah, we were digging up some old grass and planting some new grass, and Cheri's planting some seeds to see if they grow to flowers or not. And I tell you, it was rough, huh, Cheri?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know what? Keeping busy with shows and everything. And I did post on the forum the article when Vanish magazine came out. I think it was today or possibly yesterday, and it's a cool publication. So I just snapped a picture of it, but to actually see it, you have to go on the Vanish magazine if you want to see it real clear. But I just took a picture of the cover, which is August, and I took a picture of the article itself. But it's really cool. It goes worldwide, you know. So hey, I'm thankful to get that in there.
Yeah, that's awesome, honey.
Yeah, thanks.
Chuck, did you post a link to the actual magazine? Because it's an online magazine, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But I can do that. So sent you the
I got the links, but if you can post a link since you already did the post there, just post the link for the two articles, the one from the two that you sent me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because it's a pretty big magazine. It's like 100 and some pages. So
don't you have to subscribe?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. With that, Eddie, to see everything, you might have to subscribe. It's like $9 a year.
No, I don't think you do for just that magazine, because when you sent me the link, I was able to open the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I did the PDF, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe we can post the PDF. That would be good.
I'll try. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just posted a link to the site right now so people could get on it, and
thanks.
Looking at it now to see let's see. So if you click on Chuck's to see the full version, yeah, it costs $9.99 for a year to see the full version.
The thing is, just like the if you post the PDF that you send me, you won't need to have the link with the full.
Yeah, we'll try to do that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have Cheri.
You just found the article. I'm not sure if people want to subscribe to the magazine.
I did that through his G Drive.
Yeah, I don't know how she did it. We'll have to talk it over, because she did it through your G Drive. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'll try to post it because I downloaded it to my computer, so I'll post it when it's over.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. I just got to find where the article is.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that. And then about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, they were kind enough to put me in there for my Inverti collection also. So you got that one.
Yeah, I'm going to post that as well. I'm going to post it too.
So that worked out very well. Yeah. Hey, and we did our homework, Joe. We watched Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Oh, awesome. Did you both watch it? Cheri, did you watch it?
I did.
Awesome. What did you think?
Well, I can really appreciate Ray Harryhausen, his creations. They're pretty cool. That's what I like about some of these movies.
Those flying saucers, the way they spun underneath.
That was cool.
That was brilliant. Oh my God.
That was brilliant. I think that's my opinion of what a flying saucer should look like.
Yeah.
But I love the model kit that I have where it's crashing into the Capitol. That's the best kit probably I have.
Yeah, that was cool. That was neat.
Awesome. Well, glad you guys enjoyed it. So, Eddie, what's new over at House of the Unusual proper?
Well, to make a long Joe, I'm actually trying to figure out if I even understand what's going on with my storage, because I've ran out of space and I don't know what to do. And I still, that's kind of like, think about this. You put in your bedroom 10 cases, and then you take the 10 cases and you unload them, you open them up, and you put whatever contents is all around. So you figure, hey, I just emptied the thing. I'm throwing out the 10 cases. And then when you try to close the door after you throw out all the boxes and stuff, you still don't have room to close the door. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds like an IQ test. If you have 10 cases,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, it does, but to me, it's like I'm looking, like I'm thinking which way to go now, because I built 16 bookshelves. Wow. I've unloaded probably, over 35, 40 boxes that I put into the bookshelves, and I still can't close the storage units. And I'm like, what the heck, you know?
That's a mystery.
It's going along, though. It'll eventually have an end, but that's it.
You're going to have to start selling, Eddie.
I am going to.
You're going to have to start downsizing.
No, Eddie's deep dives are on the way. I'm going to sell all my stuff to Chuck and Cheri.
No, I got enough.
That's cute.
Or send it to Joe.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll just tell my wife, I don't know how all this got here, but we're keeping it.
Go.
Then I'll be looking for a new place to live.
Yeah, oh my you God. And the dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she'll keep the dogs and just boot me out.
There you go.
I tell you what, before we started here, I was just moving around a lot of my collectibles, because I usually do this podcast in my attic. I have a temperature controlled with my books, comics, and everything. Wow. And I don't know if you guys could hear the what's called air conditioner in the background. Hopefully not, but because it gets really hot up here if I don't have it on. But this past weekend, we had a nice city fest here in Camel. It was our first one in about 8 years or so. So I was fortunate enough to get a table up there to sell my Images of America Camel book. And I also had some really cool historical memorabilia up there. Mostly I try to keep it sports related. So I had some football helmets, an old book of all kinds of football articles and cutouts from the newspaper and everything. So I had to take the table that I had from my attic that I keep a bunch of toys and stuff on and other collectibles stacked up. I had to take that. So I just brought it back in today. And right before we got on the podcast here, about 10 minutes before, I was putting the table back up, putting my stuff on. It was like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to get all these different size boxes back on there to fit, properly and still leave enough room for extras and everything. And I don't want to sell stuff, but there's eventually going to come that sad point in our lives where we got to, but not yet though, not yet, not for another 50 or 80 years or so.
Yeah, when you start slipping your gears, and you got to, what I mean?
Yeah, so it's always fun looking through collectibles and all that, because even when I took the stuff off there, I got stuff piled on and just looking through it all, and it's like, man, I didn't realize I had, and it's pretty cool. And looking at the design and everything and how it was made, that's always fun to do. So
absolutely.
But,
yeah, it's the movie. I don't know if you guys saw it before or heard of it. Who Slew Auntie Roo with Shelley
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Who Slew Auntie Roo?
1972.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like a Hansel Gretel. But tell him who you noticed there was.
I noticed right away when the wording started coming up. It was by Samuel Arkoff, which is the same guy who did Dr. Phibes and a bunch of other really cool movies.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like what is it? The Goon from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that movie too, man.
He's my man.
Yeah.
Well, we were kind of disappointed. We did watch the movie, the Annie Roo, and I don't know. I guess there wasn't enough.
It was actually, I guess it was geared
for kids.
It was geared more for kids because you know what? Yeah, I was expecting like a crazy, Samuel Arkoff, who did Dr. Phibes, who produced it or whatever, directed it. I mean, I was expecting something really crazy, but it was a laid back, like a modern twist on Hansel and Gretel. And it was cute. Yeah, it was cute, but it was nothing really crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, like there wasn't a kid thrown in the oven or anything. I was expecting, a kid being made into a pot roast or something, And
she was working on it.
Yeah, she was working on it, I guess, but she never got to do it.
Yeah. That's funny. I was just looking up Arkoff on there, and I said, "Where did I like Samuel Arkoff?" Now he did Blackula. I Was a Teenage Werewolf, The Thing with Two Heads, and I'm sure he's done a lot of other stuff. But
Yeah,
I know he had. I was looking it up online, so I came across his formula, and I knew this is where I've seen it before because it's really funny. So it's called the Arkoff formula, Arkoff formula. So, and I'll just read it here right from Wikipedia, and everyone could go on and look at it too. So it says, during a 1980s television talk show appearance, Arkoff shared with viewers his Arkoff formula for making successful, memorable films. The formula, or more accurately, the checklist, forms an acronym of a surname and identifies the content elements that should be considered and included in a movie, especially a low-budget production. So here it is. So for A, it's action, exciting, entertaining drama. R for revolution, novel or controversial themes and ideas. K for killing, a modicum of violence. O for oratory, notable dialogue and speeches. F for fantasy, acted out fantasies common to the audience. And F for fornication, sex appeal to young adults.
Whoa, we didn't see any of that.
Well, no, that movie lacked it lacked everything. I think. I don't think it.
It had none of it. It lacked the Arkoff formula.
Yeah, he must have forgot the.
He must have been sleeping when he made that movie.
Yeah, I think he forgot the formula.
He forgot it.
He said, "We're going to try something different and not use the Arkoff formula in this."
No, but yeah, I mean, it was kind of cute. I mean, like if you want a laid back little version there, it took place in the little cottage, like in the UK, I guess, right? Like
yeah, because she was American.
Yeah, she was American, but they were in the UK. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of cute, but I thought it would be much more crazy, you know. But I mean, check it out. I mean, you know, if you like Shelley Winters and everything, if you want a strange little story there, check it out.
Well, hey, I got a good movie. It's sort of a movie, but we're going to do a little bit different this week for our movie type thing of the week, I guess, because we're going into some different stuff here. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys, so batter up, because I don't know if you guys are going to hit this, but it's going to be a cereal. Everybody remember the film Cereals?
Yes.
Sure.
No? Cheri, what? Film Cereals. All right, if people out there, you never heard of Film Cereals?
You mean like Kellogg's? And no, I'm kidding. Color cereals.
So, you know, and this is a perfect opportunity because there is not a lot of people up there, especially, you know, younger generations that are film cereals, and they were absolutely, I like to call them fantastic, but other people might have some lesser, you know, opinions about it. They could be good, they could be bad. They were always very low budget, and they were done within sometimes a couple days, a couple weeks. And they were kind of, some of them could be absolutely horrible, but I tell you what, there are some that are downright fantastic, and they still hold up to this day. I still watch a ton of serials, and it's all about, you know, what you like. There's Western, horror, crime, there's drama, war. So there's a mixture of everything in there. You just got to kind of find what you like. And even if you like the horror stuff like I do, or the sci-fi, there's still stuff in there that is not good at all. I mean, it's very boring, and it's tough to watch. But you know what? I got one for this week, but real quick, serials that came out in the early 1900s. I believe 1912 was the first one. And I believe that was What Happened to Mary, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys could look that up online anyways. And then if I'm wrong, you know, go on the forum site and just shred me to pieces. So serials, they were kind of chapter plays. You know, sometimes there'd be 12, 15, sometimes more, sometimes less. And each chapter kind of left off on a cliffhanger. You didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
You had to wait till next week to see it. And these cliffhangers, they usually played in theaters, you know, the 5 and dime theaters and all that, or the 5, 10, and 15s. And they would play, you would get a cereal, some cartoons and all that, and then you would have your movie. So it was kind of like it left it in a cliffhanger to entice kids to come back next week, pay their, you know, 5 cents or dime to watch it again, and then come back the following week. And they wanted to draw the audience in. So that's kind of, you know, what serials were like. And they were very low budget. You know, a lot of the people that directed or produced them or even started them were sometimes looked down upon by other, actors or other peers of theirs. And it was kind of like you didn't want to be really associated with the serials because it was kind of like on the low end of the low end. But as we look at them back today, it's an integral part of our film history, and it's really worth looking into. So on that note, I have for this week under Cryptic Classics, I am gonna push everybody to watch the Crimson Ghost from 1946.
Oh, okay. The Crimson Ghost.
And if you guys aren't familiar with the Crimson Ghost out there, I know everybody is familiar with the punk rock band The Misfits.
Oh yeah.
And they pulled their image of that skeleton face from the 1946 serial Crimson Ghost.
Nice.
Cool.
So because they were always big horror fans and all that, so they must have been fans of the serial, and they used that as their logo. So if anybody sees it and they're like, man, I know where that's from, it is from the Misfits. But yeah, definitely this week, check out the Crimson Ghost. You could find it on YouTube or online. And, it's worth it's. You could watch it all the way through. I'm trying to, let me see how many.
I'm getting deja vu here, Joe.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm getting deja vu with the Crimson Ghost. Remember that article we spoke about one time?
No, I don't.
Well, you actually asked people to watch that serial about a year and a half ago in one of our podcasts. And we were talking about the time that Karloff also did the Crimson Ghost. And remember the 6-foot moon monster that you would send out? One of the flyers that would come with the item was, what they called the newsletter, was concerning the Crimson Ghost, which was the movie, because there's the two. There's the serial and the movie. And we were talking about what a fantastic film that actually was, the one with Karloff. I mean, it wasn't like super fantastic. It was pretty cool to watch, though. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it, so it didn't happen.
All right. Yeah, but
so we are still going with the Crimson Ghost, the serial. And you know what? If you watched it, if we talked about it a year and a half ago and you watched it, you're going to watch it again this week or the Crimson Ghost is coming after you. But you know what? It was a 12-chapter play. It's about 167 minutes, so you could watch it in one sitting or you could watch it in the 12 chapters. I recommend watching maybe 2 chapters a day or 3 chapters a day and going that way. But it's a Republic Pictures serial, and Republic, the best serials, hands down. They had the best producers, directors. They had the best stunt coordinators. So it is a very good serial, and there are some very spooky elements of it. So if you watched it a year and a half ago, you have to watch it this week. It's a piece of history.
Are they the ones that did Flash Gordon, Joe?
Who's that?
That company?
I believe that was Universal.
Oh, Universal, right? And okay, so it was okay. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna look it up here real quick just to double check, but I'm almost positive it was Universal. Universal Pictures along with King Feature Syndicate.
Okay, so it wasn't that company. Okay, no, but I was gonna say, Joe, it's a good art, and I hope everybody can watch it and watch all 12 chapters in one sitting. It's better.
Yeah.
Popcorn instead of popcorn, we'll get our Lucky Charms out.
There you go. So you got cereal with a cereal.
There you go.
I like that.
But I tell you what, some of the serials are good, and Eddie had mentioned the Flash Gordon ones, and there was 3 of them, and I tell you what, they're good. The set pieces are very good. The actors are good, but the story is very lacking, and it's not one of the worst, but it's not one of the best. It's definitely something worth watching, and maybe we'll talk about it, on a future podcast. Maybe it'll be a new serial or movie of the week, because they're definitely worth watching, but not one of the best out there. And everyone always hears, the best serial is the Underwater Kingdom and this and that. And, I watched the Underwater Kingdom, and if I never seen it again, it would be fine, because I barely made it through it. It wasn't that good.
Wow.
So,
Joe, I have a question. This is a question from a man of cereal like you. Really quick.
I prefer Reese's cereal. Yes.
Why is it that Flash Gordon, for some reason, always stands out in people's mind? Was it that it was more popular, or what made? Because I mean, if everywhere you go and you look about cereal, you go online, and they always have the Flash Gordon face. Why is that? Do you have any idea?
The thing at the time, you had the Flash Gordon cereals that came out, which started Buster Crabbe, which he was a he was a big name at the time. He was an Olympic swimmer, film and television actor. You also had Flash Gordon on the radio, and Flash Gordon was absolutely huge in the comic strips. So he was everywhere at that time, and that's, at the heyday of science fiction, and everybody's like, wow, Flash Gordon, this is cool. They got all these, laser beams and this and that, and these laser guns, and they're going into space and spaceships, it just captivated everybody. And it was kind of it really flooded everybody, because you had it on TV, you had it on the radio, or not TV, but you had it in theaters, you had it on the radio, and then you had it in comic strips.
I didn't realize that. That makes
it was Flash Gordon was just everywhere.
Oh,
and
back in the 30s, was that when that was?
Yeah, came out in the 30s. Now the first one, the comic strip appearance was in 1937. So at that time, you had that coming out in 36. You had the cereal come out, and then I'm going to look here. I can't remember exactly what year the radio serials came, 1935. So within that 2-year period, you're just getting, you're getting killed with everything Flash Gordon. So,
right.
And then, there was comic books, and, he went well into the 50s and 60s with his popularity. And then, with the movie that came out in the 80s, he was huge with that. You had Queen doing the soundtrack, which was absolutely huge. So people were gravitating to it. You had Defenders of Earth, the cartoon that came out in 86. So there was, Flash Gordon's always been popular. Now I heard, and I haven't heard too much of it, but there's supposed to be another Flash Gordon movie coming out more on the serious end, not like the kind of campy 1981. Right. But it's a more serious Flash Gordon, which I think would be fantastic to see, especially if they did it kind of like, I don't know, almost like a Star Wars type, where they took that soap opera serious, but make it Flash Gordon.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. He was pretty old when he died, wasn't he, Buster Crabbe? He was up there.
Yeah, you know what? And what's sad about Buster Crabbe is before I tell you the story, I'm gonna get his age. So yeah, he died in 1983. But I believe it was in the 70s. It might have been late 60s, early 70s. Kind of when cereals were starting to become big again. People were buying them on film, and they were trying to find them here and there. And I don't know the exact names or years on this, but that doesn't matter, because it's really the story that the meat and potatoes of the story that matters. So conventions started to become popular, comic book conventions, movie conventions and all that. Right. And I believe it was a comic convention that some guy had ran, and it was a pretty big one. And he got a hold of Buster Crabbe, who had been out of the limelight for, years and all that, maybe, a decade or so. And he talked to Buster Crabbe, and he said, hey, well, I'm having this convention. We'd really like you to come up and, talk about Flash Gordon and, Buck Rogers and all that, your serial, work. And Buster Crabbe was like, yeah, nobody really cares about that. Is there really people that like this? And the guy was like, yeah, come up. And he was so taken back by how many people wanted to talk to him and get his autograph that he was actually crying there, because he didn't think that people had any interest in this stuff that he did, back in the 30s and 40s. And, now it's the 60s and 70s, and he hasn't done anything in years, didn't think anything about it. So he was so moved by all this, and he started attending conventions and all that all the way up until he died in 1983. So I thought that was really cool that, you have this Olympic swimmer, he's a 2-time American Olympic swimmer. He's a film and television actor, very popular. And then for him in his, golden years, to think that nobody cared about him. I thought it was really cool that he was actually able to live out those last years of his life, knowing that there was this huge fan base that still respected his work and enjoyed it too. So
yeah, absolutely. I cry all the time. You know what? When I look in the mirror.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like what I see, but go ahead.
You know, the one thing that's, how do you call it, that's very interesting with the Buster Crab thing is I have a poster I got with my buddy Jim. We both actually bought it. It's a huge French poster, and it's, I don't know, like 63 inches by 57. It's really nice. They actually, for the time that they printed the poster, they used a really thick paper. It's as thick as the King Kong you own, Joe, the big giant King Kong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's thick like that, and it really surprised me. It's a really nice poster, and I didn't pay a lot of money for it. But you answered my question as to why you always see Flash Gordon on everything you pick up. Like they talk about serials, the only one you see in the cover is usually him as the main focus.
Well, I tell you what, if you take a lot of the serials, Flash Gordon serials had some of the best set pieces and some of the most recognizable, because they were very, science fiction-y with the spaceships and the the laser guns and just the outfits and everything. And so it's really, I'm not a graphic designer or anything, but if I was a graphic designer and I wanted to do a cover on serials, I mean, there's nowhere else to go but Flash Gordon, because there's so much material you could use there, and it's so iconic that people will know, yeah, this is this is science fiction. And I tell you, another one too is Buck Rogers. If you put Buck Rogers on anything, people instantly, know what it is with the backpack and everything. So it's kind of those two. But if you're looking at those two, I think Flash Gordon is a lot more popular than Buck Rogers. And I could swear that I heard not too long ago too that they were talking about doing a Buck Rogers movie, which I think would be really cool.
Well, I think Buck Rogers became popular in the 70s when they had the Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Yeah, I like that. That was really cool with Gil Gerard, I believe.
That was phenomenal. And I mean, and another thing I was going to tell you is there was also, I guess Buck Rogers also got popularity because in the cartoons, when you see Daffy Duck, where he becomes Duck Dodgers in the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of influence there. But you know what? Here's one question I want, and Joe will be able to answer this question for me because I know that he's the expert here. Joe, watching The Honeymooners, which I'm sure 99% of the population that listens to us watched it and probably know every episode.
Love it. Love them.
When you have Norton become Captain Video. Now, when did Captain Video become, and was it, I know it was a serial of some sort, but what was the popularity of that compared to, Flash Gordon and maybe Buck Rogers?
Are you talking about Captain Video and his Video Rangers?
That is correct. That's where Norton becomes, I'm Captain Video.
Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious.
Now, see, I don't think that was too popular because around that time, that ran from 49 to 55, and at that time you had a lot of good science fiction. At that time, you had Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. You had Space Patrol, and there was nothing out there beating Space Patrol. I mean, that was, and I know we've talked about it before, and I even did an article for Scary Monsters on Space Patrol. There's nothing beating Space Patrol. It was like the Michael Jackson of science fiction shows. It was just popular. Yeah. Every kid, watched it. Every kid wanted it. So I think with that popularity of Space Patrol really put a back seat even for years, before and after, because, you had some of these that came out before Space Patrol and some after. And I think if you came out before Space Patrol came out and you were forgotten. And if you came out after Space Patrol, you weren't as good as Space Patrol.
Right.
That's kind of how I look at it. And it's kind of sad because there was a lot of good stuff out there, like Captain Video and his Video Rangers, Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, and you had a lot of other ones, but you weren't competing with Space Patrol. And it's sad because there were so many Space Patrol episodes produced. And right now, I think you could only, I believe there was over 220 of them. And I think right now there's only a few over 30 that are available.
What? Really?
Yeah, which really
Wow.
sucks.
Yeah.
You know that blows me away too. It's just like the same thing with the Hilarious House of Frightenstein. The thing went on for like 21 seasons in Canada, and in the United States, if you look that up and you're trying to buy any of the episodes because they are funny, you only get about 8 or 10 episodes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now because I believe there was I had looked it up not too long ago because I was doing a little dig on Space Patrol to try to find some of the episodes, and you could find DVDs on like Amazon. They'll have 3 episodes on each DVD, but okay, so here we go. So there was 5.5 seasons. They had 210 30-minute episodes. Get ready for this. 900 15-minute TV episodes.
Oh my goodness.
And 129 radio episodes. And I mean, that's a lot. You're looking at what? Just on TV episodes alone, a total of
9 seasons.
1,110.
Wow. That's
And
unbelievable.
from my understanding, there's only about 30 or so available that I'm able to find. If anybody out there knows where there's more Space Patrol, go to houseoftheunusual.com and under
Send
the
it
forum,
to us.
yeah, put on Space Patrol with the link or how we could find it, because I cannot find anything. And a lot of there was so much at the time because Space Patrol ran from where we had, I think, 1950 to 55. There was so much stuff that came out for Space Patrol in the way of like memorabilia, contests, and everything that you would think it would be easy to find, and a lot of it is not that easy to find. For as much that came out, I kind of think, which I hate because this always happens, especially with all this older stuff, is parents throw it away when their kids were done with it because at the time there was really not collecting wasn't. So I think a lot of it got thrown away or lost, or somebody has it in their attic, but they don't know or
don't even know about it. Packed away.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Joe,
true.
first of all, remember in the 50s, you didn't have any way of recording that. But one thing I'm going to tell you, though, is Space Patrol, by what you just said right now, this is my feeling. Let me hear your take on this, or even Chuck's. But if it came out, when you're talking about 1,000 episodes, right, 1,000 plus, you're talking how many did come out per season. And secondly, if they crunch 1,000 episodes into a 5-6 year period,
Wow.
they might have burnt out the people with it, and maybe that's why there's nothing left, because people just didn't care. It became like the Star Wars Episode 4 thing, whatever. You can buy the card things for like 99 cents in any store. Do you think that might have happened?
I think it was. I don't think it was a burnout, because you got to remember TV and all that's in its infancy, and science fiction was at its zenith at that time. So I don't think it was a burnout, because remember you had what's it called, the vampire soap opera. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Dark Shadows.
Yeah,
So Dark Shadows had over, what did it have? 2,225 episodes, I believe, and
wow.
it still a huge following. No one ever got burnt out. I think the issue is that being that it was the early 50s and most of these were, if not all of them, were performed live, I don't think that they were recorded.
No, that's
And
true.
since they weren't recorded, I don't think that there's anything, to back them up. And the ones that weren't recorded live, I think those are some of the ones that still exist. There has to be. I got to do a really deep dive into Space Patrol and find out. But that's from my understanding. Like I said, if anybody out there is a Space Patrol expert or knows more, get a hold of us on our House of the Unusual forum. Just put under, start a new category, Space Patrol, and let us know what you think or what you found in your research, because it's fascinating about this period of time and how popular this Space Patrol was. And it's almost like, now in 2022, it's like it almost didn't exist because you can't find much info about it. We know it exists because there is small, tidbits online, but there's not much for how popular it was. I mean,
Joe,
it's like saying in 50 years you can't find but one Michael Jackson song and one article of him online when you knew how huge he was, to music and to pop culture. So it's kind of like the same with Space Patrol.
Joe, you got to answer this question, Joe.
Eddie, I'll try to answer it. What do you got?
No, I'm serious. You're blowing my mind away here. You mean to say that a lot of the live shows of the 50s were not recorded? I thought everything was recorded for television.
It all depends, and I'd really have to look into it, but it all depends on, did they have the space to record it? Did they have the money to record it and to keep it somewhere? That was always an issue for some of these studios. They might not have had the money or the space to record it. So
I know from a Popular Mechanics book that I have from the 1950s, it introduced video recorders back then, but the way the video recorders were, if anybody remembers those televisions that had a record player in the top, that they were like a big white cabinet when we were young. Those televisions, it was just like that, but it had like a reel-to-reel cassette on the top, and it would actually record the TV show. Those were the introduction to the VCR. That's
wow.
So it was available, some type of recording. But Joe, when you just said that right now, you're gonna drive me nuts this week trying to figure that out and I need you to let me know how that works because I thought everything was recorded. So what you're basically saying is a lot of the shows that occur, like the Honeymooners and all that stuff, was live. That they actually didn't record that. It's. I never heard that. I'm just kind of curious.
I would say if it was a bigger studio and all that, and they maybe. I don't know. I don't know why some people would or some people wouldn't record it. We see a lot throughout history with even like radio stuff that they weren't recorded, and for how big they were at the time. And it's like, well, why wouldn't they record it? And
right.
I mean, you don't know what was going on at that studio at that particular time. Now I'm looking at Space Patrol here, and I'm trying to see who actually ran it. So it was ran through ABC, which is a huge company, but did now I'm looking at this article for it, and where are we at? Okay, so
that's the sound of the space.
So it says here, and I'd have to look into this more too. It says a practical videotape system was not available until after Space Patrol's run. So for distribution to distant stations, the image on a small, bright TV monitor was filmed using a motion picture camera with a specially modified and synchronized shutter mechanism, creating recordings on 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter films. So I don't know if that means that some of them were, some of them weren't. I don't know.
It'd be interesting to find that out. You mentioned about the gadgets, which kind of caught my ear, with Flash Gordon, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the very reason why I watched the James Bond stories all the years. I mean, starting with Sean Connery all the way up to the current guys, because you know what, I just love the gadgets on there.
For the gadgets.
Oh, that was neat. I mean, Q would always demonstrate, like the latest thing, to James Bond, and it was some really cool stuff. I mean, that really captured my, my full attention on there.
And you know what's crazy, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, especially Eddie, how much those original guns from the 30s and 40s and even the 50s go for online. They're all metal, most the early ones. I mean, they go for crazy amounts, especially if they have Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, or Space Patrol on them, or even Tom Corbett. They go for astronomical prices.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Remember that water gun I had that I don't know what the heck I did with it or something. I don't know if I sold it for like $600. The thing was going for $2,000. Remember, it's like a water gun. It's called the atomic water pistol, something like that.
It's crazy.
I had it. I pictured it and sent it to you guys when I bought it years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy. That water gun is $2,000 something online on eBay. And
wow!
I didn't have mine in a box. I'm with it. I'm holding it. I'm trying to think what the heck I did with it. I forgot right now if I sold it or what. But
and you think about it, kids back in those days, I mean, they didn't really have a lot of money, I mean, families and stuff, especially back in the 30s. My dad was born in 1921, and I'll tell you what, they were an average American family, and they didn't have a lot of money. I mean, he would show me how to make toys out of, if you can believe that. When I was a kid, he used to put holes in a bar of soap and put rubber bands through a stick, line them up, and make toys out of soap. I said, oh, boy. Yeah. I said, "Oh man, we got to do better than this, Pop."
We need some real toys. What is this? It's melting in the water.
Yeah,
but maybe that's why you're an inventor today, Chuck.
I need a fright factory or something.
Yeah, you know what? Also, the reason of the rarity is because the fact that there was not too much money around. Probably when they made them, they didn't sell that many, and that's why they. But it's true what Joe said. The prices on anything, especially the Tom Corbett this or that. In fact, I remember there was a bazooka that I had in the 1970s. I think it was Agent Zero. Now, I don't know if that was a TV show or what it was, but they made a lot of things called Agent Zero. And the bazooka was like a really good size. It was probably 3 inches in diameter, the cannon thing in the front. And you used to have to pump it. And you would pump it 10 times, and the thing was like, boom. It was phenomenal. I don't know what it shot. It was all plastic, like a hard plastic. But I can tell you the one I had, the handle was broken off. So you would need a screwdriver to pump it.
Oh.
And
Cheri. You know what? Cheri looks this stuff up while we're talking, and she found one online here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. She's a good investigator.
What is it going for? Probably $1,000-some.
You know what? It says 1960 Mattel Agent Zero M Sonic Blaster Bazooka Gun for $158.99.
Where do you see that?
That's a good price.
It is on. What's this
Don't
called?
say it. Don't say it. Send me the link.
I
want to get that, so don't say the link.
All right, send them the link.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay,
Gotcha,
she'll send the link.
gotcha
Yeah, that's a
right
pretty
now.
good price on there, Eddie. Oh my
know
If
God.
it is, no, I'm going to jump on that like right now, man.
Hey, I tell you what, we're talking about all this science fiction stuff and movies and ray guns and toys. I'm going to give you guys a title of this book, and do yourself a favor out there, because I'm a huge book guy, and I'm always looking for good books, and I got this one a few years ago from a buddy, and
I have it, Joe.
Yeah, you probably got 9 of them.
No, I got one. I know.
But it's called Blast Off: Rockets, Robots, Ray Guns, and Rarities from the Golden Age of Space Toys.
Ooh, that would be cool. Look at it.
And you could actually find it. It's on Amazon. You got to kind of almost put in that Blast Off: Rockets, Robots, Ray Guns, and Rarities, and it'll come up. They have it hardcover for $19.34, but color photos, and it is just tons of these toys like you wouldn't imagine. Robots, ray guns, play sets, and you'll spend hours. I'm telling you will spend hours looking at this. Yeah. You won't eat for days. You put on a diaper because you won't make it to the bathroom because you won't want to move from looking at this book. It is very cool, man. And if people, I think we talked about this book before in a podcast a long time ago, but I'm going to highly recommend this book again.
Cheri wants to know, what's it called again? She's trying to look this up. Go ahead.
It's called Blast Off: Rockets, Robots, Ray Guns, and Rarities from the Golden Age of Space Toys.
Okay.
So you got to kind of, in Amazon, you got to put it in as Blast Off: Rockets, Robots, Ray Guns, and Rarities. And then
and you should title this episode the episode that Eddie almost got his Agent Zero blaster. Because apparently what the link that Cheri just sent me is for an old one that probably sold years ago.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, and it just made me very happy and sad at the same time. Because
I'm sorry to do that to you, Eddie.
And that's why it's mine. I lost it in the fire in 1995, and I always wanted to get that back, and that's why it's the one that Eddie almost got. But got away.
Almost had it.
Well, we're gonna have to go back to making. We're gonna have to go back to making toys out of soap. That's all.
Yeah, really.
I used to use Coke bottles in Cuba. Remember, my dad used to tie 2 old Coke bottles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. You know what?
Yeah.
Cheri, did you end up finding it?
No, I'm not. I'm not able to find it.
Are you on Amazon?
Oh, damn.
Type in maybe S. Mark Young.
Okay.
That's
That book,
that's
that
the author. He may come up.
Okay.
Joe,
And
that book has a picture of a gun in there, which is like a Sonic Mars gun or something like that. It looks like one of the Buck Rogers gun. I have that one in the box. It's like a flashlight, actually.
Maybe that's yours in the book.
No, it's not.
They stole it, took a picture of it, and gave it back to you.
I wish, Joe. You made me happy for a second, Joe. This is the day I'll never forget. I almost got a bazooka gun I've been looking for years.
Did you get it, Cheri?
No.
What?
S.
Joe,
You know what? I'm gonna send a. I'm gonna email you guys a link to it.
Okay.
How about that?
this could be the episode that we're going to call this episode of all the podcasts we've ever done, the episode of dreams.
Yeah,
there you go.
And pipe dreams.
Yeah, or the lost episodes.
Yeah, send Chuck the link.
Yeah, and you'll find out it's not available either.
All right, I just sent it over now, so you guys should be getting it in Blast Off. It just went.
Yeah, Blast Off. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. I tell you what, it's fantastic. You could spend hours looking at it, and oh man, I'm gonna tell you what. I was looking through it, and I'm like, I want this, and then I'm looking up the prices on eBay, and I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I love the old-fashioned tin toys. I mean,
yeah, here it is.
oh, she got it. Okay.
Blast Off, $19.30.
Wow, nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that
I'm
is
telling
cool.
you guys, man, it's you have to get it. You won't be disappointed. I will bet Eddie's life on it. How about
Yeah, well,
that?
the only one that got disappointed is me today, man.
Yeah.
I got
All right,
she just
so I'll be getting it soon. She just bought it for me. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Cheri.
honey.
Wow.
Oh, I can't wait till you guys get it because I want to.
Yeah.
I want to. We'll have to discuss it through email or something when you guys get it. Or if you don't like it, like I said, it's on Eddie. So.
Yeah. Can I say something to you?
Yeah.
Can I say something here? Why is it I couldn't get anything? Why is it that I got tricked in here, man?
Eddie.
I love the old battery operated toys though. I got an average size collection. I went through a little stage about 15 years ago. I got a bunch of battery toys, the old ones, the Marks ones, and from the 50s, early 60s.
Those were neat.
Yeah, those are pretty
those
cool.
are nice.
And you know what? If you go on eBay and stuff like that, you can find them where it says pristine condition, just not working. 9 out of 10 times, it's like a frozen gear. If you take it apart gently, there's little tabs. Take it apart, spray some WD-40 in itself, and if you push it with a flathead screwdriver, when you turn the switch on, it'll work. Or it has a loose wire. I mean, that's basically all it is.
You know what, Chuck? I've hard to find these toys. Especially when you go to shows or any type of conventions, you rarely see dealers that have these. And just with my experience, the few times that I have, they're in horrible condition and they want like near mint condition prices or more.
Yeah, they still want. See, that's a whole different category. I got the character ones, almost like the Charlie Weaver, where he shakes the drink and he pours it and he drinks it and his face turns red. Yeah, you know what? Like stuff like that. That always appealed to me.
See, I think when you get to the sci-fi toys, especially the robots that came from Japan and all that.
Yeah.
But if you get anything that's sci-fi from these toys from the 50s, 40s, 30s,
yeah, they're very cool.
You're looking at a premium price for them, no matter what. I mean, even in bad condition, you're gonna pay a premium price. But if it has a name on it was very popular, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Tom Corbett, you're gonna pay an even more premium price for it because just for that name on it too. It's sick how much they go for. But
yeah, that's a whole different. Because like I said, the things I have are like characters, and they're pretty cool though.
Yeah,
but you have to watch. There's a few guys throughout the years on eBay. I mean, it said like the Charlie Weaver bartender, missing an arm, something like that. I mean, who the heck wants with a missing arm?
Yeah, but what bartender's going to serve you without an arm? I mean,
or like
guys, I got to tell you, man, everybody's so excited now, and Chuck got his Space Ranger book, and Joe has his things over there, and It's a sad part. I mean, last week or the week before, I came across. So yes, Joe, take a drink. My robot plants, and I thought,
Take a drink.
what? 25 years from April 22nd, 1996, which was the last contact I had with the son of the owner, who apparently, whatever, I decided to write a letter, and I spent my little time putting it together and sending him a letter. I mailed it away last Monday. I went to the post office, and to the sad reality, nothing has come back. That means probably the guy might have died, or he's not even there no more. But I was hoping for at least to get a miss delivered or sent back to sender. That didn't happen either. And now Cheri gets me really excited about a bazooka that I've always wanted.
Didn't work out.
Cheri, come on.
And so it's Eddie's Pipe Dreams, how they were shattered episode.
That's what we're gonna name this episode, Eddie's Pipe Dreams.
Yeah. That's a good
Oh
one.
my gosh.
Eddie's
Yeah,
Pipe Dreams.
I was really hoping for that letter. Honestly, when you randomly throw something in the post office and you wonder what would happen, I was hoping to come back at least like, none forwardable, or, to get some closure. But there's nothing worse than the letter gets to its destination and then you don't hear from anybody. And it's got me checking my phone, because I put a phone number there, my Google phone number, hoping the guy would respond. And sorry, Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna call this Eddie's Pipe Dreams, aka Blast Off.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
good.
That's a good one. Yep.
You know what, Eddie? I feel so bad. I'm gonna send you a virtual high five. So here it goes. There you go.
Thanks, Joe.
Did you send her something?
I sent you another one, Eddie. It's probably a dud, but take a look at it.
Oh, Cheri sent you another one. It might be a dud, but
She's just teasing you, Eddie. Now she's just playing with your emotions, man.
I found it when she said that. It kind of got me, because I know it's a fact that that this thing, how do you call it? I've been after it. What you got, Cheri, right now is the Worth Point photograph, and Worth Point is just a stupid company that tells you who sold it and for what price.
That's right. That's
today,
right.
Whatever, and then they ask you. It's the same exact one that you sent me before, the same link. But I'm going to tell you something. This gun, the last one, sold for almost $1,100, and this was several years ago. So right now, when you send me the picture for $158, my head dropped off my head, and the rest of my hair fell out.
Wow, that's
I was like, what?
Eddie, I tell you what, man. You better watch with Cheri. You might get an email that says, "Open, I found the robot monster plans," and when you open it, it says, "Ha! You got a virus now on your computer."
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
you get all excited. I finally got the robot monster plan, and it says, "Virus, goodbye."
Yeah,
That would be a good one.
Even my best friend Jim tells me that he had a dream a couple of weeks ago that he goes to a flea market, the PAL building where we attend sometimes. And there he goes. He goes, "I saw on the table the robot plants, and I nonchalantly went over and asked him how much of the plants, different plants." And he goes, "I took the robot plants." And I go, "Jim, how come you haven't given them to me? What type of friend are you?" So I can tell you, my friend, that it is definitely Eddie's Pipe Dreams. And they blast off, whatever, AKJ blast off.
But that is really strange. You think somebody out there would have those things? I mean,
well, it's just like the blaster. It's
Yeah.
like the blaster. Nobody has it, and when they do have it, they want freaking crazy prices.
yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but I mean, explain this to me, Joe, and explain this. We have like the RoboPlant. They run for 10, 11 years in comic books.
Yeah,
No one's gonna run an ad on a monthly basis. Back even in those days, it was like $200-300 a month to run an ad. They're gonna run an ad after month after month after month, and you're gonna tell me that the millions of people that live in this country and that probably order that nobody has one available? That's insane to even consider that.
yeah.
And that's where I'm standing. I mean, 40 years looking, and I don't even know what else to.
Yeah.
And even the last hope I had was dashed about a month ago with that bubblehead over in whatever Ohio, wherever he lived. Not you, Joe. Some guy that sells. What the heck is his name? I forgot now. And Cav was trying, and he said he had it, and then he said he went to to get it, and he
Oh
sold it.
yeah.
No, Colorado Springs. He said he sold it in Colorado Springs, and I'm like, I tell this guy I'm going to give him a lot of money for this thing. My friend tells him he knows both, and then he comes up with some hogwash that he found it and sold it in a flea market, which made me quite frankly believe he pulled my leg. He might have had it, but I don't think he ever came across it again. And I told Cap, I'll bet you if he comes across it, he's going to send me a letter and go, oh, I happened to come across a second one, which I would say you're bold because that's very hard to come by a second one like that. And so anyway, I'm a sad man, Joe.
Oh.
Well, this might pop up in an unexpected place. I mean, we'll keep looking at flea markets, and you may be walking through a flea market someday, and somebody's gonna have a box of stuff there, and it's gonna be sitting there, from someone's basement or attic.
That's always been my pipe dream, or my hope is to get a response from the son. Telling me he found it, or telling me, hey, guess what, Eddie?
I tell you what, Eddie, I know how that feels to be disappointed. A few years ago at a local comic show that was here, so I was set up. I had a little stand there selling some books and all that, and I was doing pretty good. So I had a nice little, sum of money in my pocket, and I think it was the second or the last day, I can't remember which. My buddy comes over to me and he's like, "Hey," he goes, "Did you see that Amazing Stories 1928?" And I said, "No, what are you talking about?" And he goes, "The first Buck Rogers." I'm like, "Somebody has that here." And he goes, "Yeah, they have it for like $900, but they said they'll let it go for $600 if somebody wants it." I'm like, "When did you see that?" And this is like towards the, later in the day. He goes, "Oh, about like 4 or 5 hours ago." I'm like, "Why didn't you say something to me before that?" So we go over to the guy that was selling it, and he had sold it like an hour before I got there.
Goodness.
And I was looking for that Amazing Stories August 1928 issue forever. Still am, but it goes for a lot more now. At that time, the guy said it was like around like fine condition, which that's great for a pulp. I'll take it. For $600, that's a steal.
Wow. Yeah.
Now you can't, in maybe very good condition, you're looking at over $1,000, $1,200. So I was disappointed. I wanted to wring my buddy's neck. So, Mark, if you're out there listening, I'm coming over and I'm wringing your neck because I'm never forgetting about that. I could have had that first Buck Rogers, man.
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna, different categories. You guys, if I see a trick that I really want and I can't get it for whatever reason, I'll examine it online and pictures of it, and I'll build it. You know what I mean? Like if it's a boxer or whatever, look at the Antonio Diavolo. There's only a few guys in the world that built that thing. And
well, Chuck, you need to use your magic and get me an Amazing Stories 1928 edition and Eddie the Robot Monster plan. So let's go. Get on it, man.
Go to the printing shop and try and print.
Well, you need to build a magical time machine, go back in time, pick these up for cheap, and then come back and then give it to us.
Hey, Joe, I don't want to make your dreams. I mean, it'll definitely it'll be Eddie's pipe dreams and they blasted off, and Joe's that became real. That Amazing Stories you're talking about, Joe, I've seen it. I don't know if my brother has it or myself, but I think that's in my possession. I've seen that book.
Oh,
probably do. It's a cool cover. It's red. I'm looking at it right now. It's red and yellow, and has Buck Rogers in a red outfit with his jetpack on and the lanyard for it, and he's kind of flying across. It looks like this airfield with people waving at him, and it's a very cool. You got to think of 1928. It's a very impactful cover. Just to think at that time, somebody flying like. That's crazy. But hey, guys, we are less than 2 minutes away here, so we're going to have to wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody for joining us on once again on House of the Unusual. Thank you for listening on whatever podcast platform you're on. Don't forget to subscribe to us. Give us a great review if you so choose to. Huge thank you for Eddie, Chuck, and Cheri for joining us here and for some great conversation, man. There's a lot of things to think about of what we talked to, and every time we talk, it seems to jog the imagination of some different things, different stories, different items that we want. So yeah, this is definitely one to think about. So guys out there, everybody, thank you for joining us. Don't forget houseoftheunusual.com. That is our flagship site. We have a free forum site there that you could join. A lot of cool stuff going on there. I am giving away some comic book graphic novels on there. So go on there and check them out. If you want them, get a hold of me. They're still available. Also find this on YouTube. Type in House of the Unusual. Eddie and Chuck are always putting out some great videos. Find them on there. Subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. If you got any questions, leave us a comment there. Or if you just want to say, hey, guys, great job. You guys are really super cool and amazing. Leave that comment on there. And don't forget, every Thursday, a new episode comes out. And, guys, thank you for joining us wherever you are all over the world. A huge thank you. And I'll see you guys next time. So, good night.
Take care.
God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a great